Notice that action will be taken on the following items at the regular council meeting on Tuesday, March 24th, 2026, in council chambers, Sparta Township Municipal Building, 65 Main Street, Sparta, New Jersey. The regular meeting is now opened at 7:06 p.m. All council meetings are now live streamed and can be viewed at the following link: youtube.com at SpartaTWP/streams. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the public and the press on January 7th, 2026, by delivering to the press and posting on the township website a copy of the notice. Madam Clerk, would you please do a roll call?
Councilman Scott.
Here.
Councilman Murphy.
Here.
Councilman Clark.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sylvester. Mayor Blumetti.
Here. Thank you. Would you all please join me in a salute to our flag? Pledge allegiance
To the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we begin our time together here tonight, I'd just like to highlight an obvious fact that we're all here because we care deeply about Sparta and want to keep it the special place that it is. We're neighbors and we all belong to one small community. I respectfully ask that all of us, myself, my colleagues here on the dais, and you, the public, strive to listen to one another, be respectful as we interact tonight. Thank you for your consideration. So we have 3 sets of minutes to approve tonight. And Deputy Mayor Sylvester will be able to just vote on the last one due to the timing of these meetings when they took place. There are 3 executive meeting minutes. So the first one, may I have a motion, please, to approve the September 9th, 2025 executive meeting minutes as presented?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstains? Motion is carried. May I please have a motion to approve the November 13th, 2025 executive meeting minutes as presented?
So approved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstains? Motion carried.
I did vote aye on the last one. I was a little late.
Okay, so we have 4 ayes. Okay. And finally, may I have a motion to approve the November 25th, 2025 executive meeting minutes as presented?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed or abstains? Okay, that motion has carried, approved. Town Manager Zepp, would you please present your manager's report?
Sure. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and all Sparta residents joining us in person or watching from home. Thank you for being with us tonight. Many of you may have already noticed that we will not be introducing the 2026 municipal budget this evening. Our finance team has been informed that our annual financial statement will be delivered later this week. Once it is received, we will be able to finalize the remaining figures and prepare the budget for introduction. We will also compile the usual budget handouts and post them on the township website for public review. Most recently, we added a link on the website to the YouTube stream of the budget workshop for anyone who may have missed it. At this time, we anticipate introducing the budget at our next town council meeting scheduled for April 14th. Thank you for your patience and understanding. I'm also happy to share with everyone when our employees are recognized through their affiliated associations. Sparta's Recreation Director, Jean Montemarano, has been awarded the Michael Berman's Administrative Excellence Award through the New Jersey Recreation and Parks Association. She was nominated and honored with this award for her outstanding leadership and dedication to public recreation, parks, conservation, and leisure services. Sparta's Building Department's Dmitry Checker has been selected as the 2026 Plumbing Inspector of the Year by the New Jersey State Plumber Inspectors Association. He was chosen for his outstanding contributions in enforcement of the Uniform Construction Code and related duties. The state DCA considers this recognition as the highest honor that can be bestowed upon a code official. On behalf of the mayor, council, and coworkers, congratulations, Gene and Dimitri. Some announcements from our departments. The senior bus trip to Wind Creek Casino and Outlets in Bethlehem, PA on Thursday, April 16th still has seats open, so please register if interested. Summer day camp at Camp Sacagawea registration is open, but spots are filling quickly, so please register your children as soon as possible. All registration and brochure details are online on the Township's Recreation webpage, and the spring and summer brochure will be online soon, with registration opening on April 15th. On Saturday, April 25th, at Town Hall, the Environmental Commission will be sponsoring an Earth Day Fair. This free family event will showcase numerous exhibitors from conservation organizations throughout New Jersey, featuring a kids' corner with activities and crafts for the children. Sparta Township's free paper shred and e-waste event has been scheduled for Saturday, May 30th, rain or shine, from 9 a.m. to noon here at Town Hall in the lower level parking lot. We will start advertising for this event in April on our webpage and social media pages. Lastly, you may have noticed the new left turn signal arrow is now operating at Route 15 North and Lime Crest and Route 15 North and White Lake Road. Chief McCarrick and I have been actively petitioning the New Jersey DOT for these improvements, and we are pleased to see them implemented. We believe these improvements will improve traffic flow and make these intersections safer for all commuters. Chief McCarrick was not able to attend tonight's meeting, so this will conclude my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Town Manager. And congratulations to Gene and Dimitri for making us proud. May I have a motion, please, to accept the manager's report as presented?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion has carried.
And yes, Jim, thank you so much, because the one who goes out there every single day, I actually made it through the first time I got up to the light.
That's great.
It's dramatic, just so dramatic.
Small wins.
Small wins.
Okay, moving on to next on our agenda, item number 4, which is the first open to the public segment. This is for items on the agenda. This includes the resolutions, but with the exception of ordinance hearings, because ordinance hearings each have their own public comment segment. So this is for items on the agenda, and please note that Resolution 8-5 was a late addition to the agenda, so you should have 5 resolutions on the agenda. And the second public comment period, happening a little later tonight, is for items not on the agenda. So opening up to the floor. Yep, come on up.
Clarify something before, so in regards to the ordinances, so they are on the agenda, but are you saying the public is not open to speak about those items because it's an ordinance? Am I understanding that correctly of what you just said?
Attorney Dash can correct me. So my understanding is they're on the agenda, so you can speak about them. The council cannot speak, we can't answer, we cannot discuss an ordinance that's being introduced. The discussion happens during the hearing of the ordinance.
Okay, but the general public, we could make a statement, you just can't respond in kind at this point, is that correct?
That's correct.
That's correct.
So in that case, Jennifer Rogoff, in regards to the ordinance 26 -06, I stood before you in December when this was brought before the council. At that time, it was tabled that evening after discussion of other parameters to be discussed, whether it was legislation that was potentially coming down the pipeline that would be of some assistance, whether there were other parameters that could come into play, how this would affect people that are already having their veteran status evaluated by the VA system at this point, but are not through to that 100% qualification mark. This is something that is truly impactful. And these are 100% disabled veterans in our community. They deserve nothing but our respect and our gratitude. And I feel that pulling and amending or changing the ordinance to remove the 2-year tax look back. And yes, I do understand, Mr. Zepp and we went through that last time. I clearly understand how it works. And I feel that taking that part of the ordinance away from these people, there has to be a better way. There has to be another place to find the numbers, to make the numbers work. Budgeting is about priorities. These are members of our community who were injured or hurt or damaged because of their service to our country. And we're turning around as a community and saying, our budget isn't balanced, so you don't deserve this for what you've sacrificed. And that doesn't sit well with me. So I stand here before you and I hope you're listening. And I really felt like when it was tabled last time that there were other options that were going to be explored. But when I saw the ordinance brought back, and this is verbatim what we read in December, where are the ideas? Where is the outreach? Where is having someone from our community VFW right across the way? They know how this process works. Involve them in the language. Involve them in the process. We're here as a community. We need to work together, and we need to do what's right for our veterans. And this isn't it. I feel deep down in my heart this was painful to see. It was hurtful. It was painful to see it introduced in the same format in which it was presented in December. There has to be other options. As a group, and as a community, we have to look at our priorities, and these are the people who should be our top priority. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening.
Evening.
My name is Angel Diaz. I served 8 years in the Marine Corps. I'm a member of the VFW, right across the street. I'm a veteran of 2 wars. You might remember some of them, the 1983 invasion of Grenada. I was an anti-tank gunner on that island, first coming in one of the waves in a CH-53 helicopter. I was then stuck with 18 Cuban prisoners where I ended up being a Spanish translator. Very proud of what I did. Then we went to Lebanon after the Beirut bombing in October of 1983, where 241 of my guys were killed in the barracks. I stayed there until President Reagan pulled us out in 84. I was explained this situation. I received benefits from the VA. I've been a member of this town since 2004 when we moved here. I love this town. I never will say a bad thing about it. Never. You folks work hard. You get paid peanuts. I understand. I don't know if any of you are veterans. Not going to judge anybody. I just know that having that type of rating, there's a reason for that. I served as a drill instructor in Parris Island, South Carolina. This is a picture of me a long time ago. This is proof of my words. I ask that if you could be so kind to really just kind of think about this 2-year aspect and just understand that it took me 5 years to get my benefits. I was almost killed in Beirut by a sniper where the bullet went right over my head. I had a 1-inch thick Kevlar plate on and even a Kevlar helmet, but that sniper took a shot at me and it went right over my head. That haunts me to this very day because I would never have been a father. I would have died when I was 20 years old. So it altered my mindset a little bit. I won't deny it. And I'm not complaining. Okay, I don't want you to hear a complaining person. I'm just asking you, with all due kindness, as somebody who served in 2 wars, to please see if there's another way that we could try to please help these veterans. If they got to 100%, there's a reason. If you don't understand what that reason is, then you should ask each and every one of these members who are applying to this program here, bring them in. Ask them what happened. See if they're willing to even talk about it. It's hard for me to talk about it to this very day because I should have been in that building when that bombing happened in Beirut. I was assigned to 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines. The Marines that were killed in that building were 1st Battalion, 8th Marines. A clerical error as to when I was assigned to my unit when I got out of infantry training school. I don't want to take up any more of your time. Please reconsider, find the funds somewhere else. These members deserve what they have coming to them. Embrace them as you folks have embraced me and my family. This is our home. I'm going to stay here for the rest of my days and be buried in that cemetery in Sparta. I ask you to please, with all due respect, please think, put yourself in their shoes. Put yourself as a soldier who literally put their lives on the line for this great nation. Please help them. Please be fair to them and understand where they're coming from. They're not asking for a handout. They got their rating. They deserve it. If there's more that they're entitled to, please give it to them and let them be whole. Let them show they have a home here that loves them and respects them. I ask you to please listen to this 62-year-old man who loves this town more than I could ever explain. I'm sorry to bother you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your service.
Joanne Scally, Sparta, New Jersey. The last time I was here, I spoke about my family. My entire family is involved in the military, and I want to echo everything Jen said. I'm not going to repeat it. But I think you should look somewhere else for this money. I think it's only like 1% of the population is military veterans in our town. Show respect for our military veterans. They apply, and it might take years. And I heard that they are catching up. So it's not going to be this much money every year. The 2-year look back is nothing. They could be waiting 4, 5, 6, 10 years for their money. 2 years out of waiting 10 years, been disabled, is a big deal. And it means a lot. We should respect our veterans. Must be able to find the money somewhere. Pull some of these lawsuits. Pull that DEP one that former Mayor Clark asked the manager to put in. We're not going to win it. Pull that. Stop wasting money on these lawsuits. Everyone should give a little bit. It shouldn't be on the backs of our veterans. Maybe your stipends, give it up for a year. Show that you have some skin in the game. Maybe do pro bono work on some of these lawsuits instead of the town bearing the responsibility of these lawsuits that most likely we're not going to win, and they should be settled. But we shouldn't be doing this on the backs of our veterans. They suffer, their families suffer. They are not the only ones to suffer. Like the gentleman before me said, speak to the veterans, speak to the families. They suffer just as much as, if not more, and their children suffer because of the disability of a parent. The entire family suffers, from the grandparents, the parents, everyone in the family suffers with a disabled veteran. It's not just disability, it's beyond that. So I'm asking to find it somewhere else. $250,000. It's not going to be that much every year. I can almost guarantee it. They're catching up on this. Do it that 1% of the population. Show some respect and find the money somewhere else. $250,000 out of a multi-million-dollar budget is nothing. And I thought that we weren't in this budget mess because every time, like Mr. Castamore brought it up, said, no, we're not in this. Mayor Clark would say, no. Asked the manager, are we in this budget mess? No. So I didn't think we were in a budget mess. But now I come home and I find out we're $750,000 in a budget mess. But don't take it out on the veterans, and please show some respect for them and find the money somewhere else, because they do deserve it, and they applied and they're waiting years and years for this money. Why they were disabled? They didn't just become disabled the minute you approve them. They've been disabled for years and suffering along with their families, broken marriages, broken families. Please respect our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, everybody. Ron Day, Sparta, New Jersey. I guess first I just want to thank the gentleman back here for his service and his comments. I think that really, there's nothing that I'm going to say tonight that's going to add to that. And I recognize that you all can't comment on it tonight, but I do want to go on the record before you vote to introduce it, that we're not ready for this. I'm strongly against eliminating the look back. I think the impact of this decision is being made on dollars. I think the dollars that we're hearing need to be better quantified. And if this does go forward, it should be part of the overall budget discussions we have in a few weeks, not tonight as a separate standalone item. I believe the costs that we've heard tied to the look back, I believe they're overstated by about a factor or two. And during the week, I've been fortunate enough that our financial team and our tax team has been willing to meet with me, and we've been going through it. And I think they would agree with that comment as well. But you need to hear that from them, not from me. So in the end, I think we need to look at it further. We're not ready for this to go forward. In terms of, one of the things we've heard is we're one of two towns. I disagree with that as well. We may be one of two towns that have a 24-month look back, but there's other towns that do it differently. I have to thank our AI. We've got some AI experts in our township here. Have them look at Voorhees, Galloway Township, Linwood, Green Township, and then see what they find. And if they find something, ask them to dive deeper. And maybe we'll find something in there, but let's look a little bit harder. Let's figure what are the real dollars, what are the other towns doing. So, again, this decision should not be made on dollars alone. It is. I think, let me just end by saying, I think that Spartans, including each of you up there, and I know that, we all want to support our veterans. It's important that we give the support to our disabled veterans that they need. So Spartans are smart people. You're all smart people. So let's not introduce this bill tonight, and let's figure out how do we do this right going forward. I don't think we're ready for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jerry Murphy, 161 Alpine Trail. Who drafted this ordinance? Did you, Mr. Dash?
We're not discussing it tonight.
No.
Former Mayor
I-
Murphy.
I'm not discussing it. I'm just
Well, that's a
asking.
direct question. We're not doing that tonight. This is an introduction only.
I'll hold it.
Respectfully ask you to hold it for next 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now.
Yes, at the public hearing. Waiting in the wings. Assembly Bill 2939, introduced by Assemblyman Alex Sawicki, 12th Legislative District. It's to provide meaningful property tax relief to honorably discharged veterans with service-connected disabilities rated below 100%, up to $5,000. So if you think you're dodging a bullet, stand by.
Thank you.
Jenny Derrick, step into Sparta. I have a different question. 2605, I know it was just introduced, but always ask on these ordinances, what is the delta? What has changed from the fee ordinances to past to current? Are there new categories? How has the fee structure changed? Every year we have a listing of all of the different fees. This is different. It looks different anyway. I don't think we've had one like this for a while. So hoping that I don't have to ask, that maybe it will be provided at the next meeting when this is voted on for the hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else from the public on items on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the open to the public segment. Thank you for your comments. Next, we'll move on to expenditures. Deputy Mayor Sylvester, would you please read the expenditures for March 24th, 2026?
Yes, thank you, Mary. Expenditures, March 24th, 2026 are $6,586,343.30.
All right, may I have a motion to approve those expenditures?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed or abstain? Okay, expenditures have been approved. Next, we're moving on to introduction of ordinances. Again, as a reminder, these are introductions, so if they pass, if each one passes, it'll be then up for a hearing at our next meeting, which I believe is 3 weeks from tonight, second Tuesday in April. So the first one is 2605, an ordinance amending the general ordinances of the Township of Sparta in order to adjust certain fees and escrows. May I have a motion to introduce 2605?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I will second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Scott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sylvester,
Yes.
Mayor Blumetti.
Yes. Ordinance 2605 has been introduced. 2606.
Could we see the delta that Mrs. Derek's talking about before next meeting?
Maybe.
Okay,
It's maybe, because it's a very good question and more than a fair request. The style that the township has been following to date doesn't lend itself easily to show the red line as to what. I completely agree that both the council and the public should be afforded that opportunity to see the distinction. I'll try to see if between now and the hearing we can find some way. It is not necessarily easy to do. Not saying that can't be done. Going forward, we are going to try to follow the state legislature's style of changing ordinances. The state legislature uses underlining to show new additions and uses brackets to show deletions. I think that would be tremendously helpful for the public at large, as well as the council. So with apologies for the lack of showing the quote-unquote, the delta, but we will we will labor to provide that going forward after this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to ordinance 2606. An ordinance amending Chapter 2, Administration, Article 11, Taxation and Revenue of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Sparta, amending Section 2-62, 100% disabled veteran tax refunds. May I have a motion to introduce 2606?
So moved.
May I have a second? I'll second.
Open discussion.
No, not an introduction.
No discussion.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Scott,
This is only to introduce it, correct?
Correct.
Yes, I'd like to discuss it. Yes, pass, yes.
Councilwoman Murphy,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sylvester,
No.
Mayor Blumetti.
Yes. 2606 has been introduced. 2607, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the Township of Sparta, amending Chapter 18, entitled Comprehensive Land Management Code of the Township of Sparta Code to amend Section 18-4.21, entitled C1H Community Commercial Historic Zone. Attorney Dash, would you please share
Yeah.
some context around this and
Sure.
guidelines?
Yes, of course. So as an initial matter, I've discussed with Councilman Murphy and Councilman Scott and Councilwoman Murphy that due to a conflict, they will be recusing themselves from the substance of this ordinance.
Right.
That's correct? Okay. In addition, because my law firm represents Lake Mohawk Country Club, I will recuse myself from any substantive or substantive discussions with respect to this ordinance. I will provide procedural guidance with respect to all ordinances. I do understand there was a discussion by council prior to today. I probably at this point, I'll turn it over to Councilman Clark to indicate he and others may have had some requests for some changes. As a matter of procedure for all ordinances, not just this ordinance, any changes that are material would obviously impact the ordinance, but the time for those changes would be after the introduction. The New Jersey statutes do not allow for amendments to ordinances to be done at the introduction stage. Therefore, the council has two options if it wishes to make an amendment. It can either A, table the ordinance tonight, and it can propose the changes prior to the next hearing. Alternatively, it can introduce the ordinance as is without any changes, and then at the hearing stage, it can propose an amendment at that time. And depending on whether or not that amendment is material, that will determine whether or not the ordinance has to be reintroduced and renoticed. So for those members of the council who can vote, I'm happy to answer procedural questions and not substantive questions.
So just to also clarify, this ordinance was submitted by Lake Mohawk and presented to the township today as well, right? They're in support of what we're discussing and what's in front of us tonight, right?
It was submitted by Lake Mohawk. I understand it was submitted by Lake Mohawk. The board is a large board, and I think, I mean, again, I'm not speaking for them in my capacity as lawyer, but yes, this ordinance originated from Lake Mohawk.
Yes, I was just
Yes.
procedurally just wanted to
Yes.
let the public know that Lake Mohawk
Correct.
asked us to, consider this for introduction.
That is correct.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So may I have a motion to introduce ordinance 2607?
Well, I'd like to, if we can, make a motion to table this ordinance in light of council's instruction. The reason being is, in light of the requirement that you have to, if it's going to be a significant change, you'd have to do that. You'd have to reintroduce it anyway. I think it had been pointed out that bed and breakfast is a permitted use, which is fine. The issue is it's not defined. The definition tracks back to the definition in the prior 18.2, which simply says it's the bed and breakfast as defined by the New Jersey Bed and Breakfast Association, which we can't find even exists. So I think there's more homework that needs to be done to put parameters about what is this bed and breakfast going to look like. And I think in light of that, I don't want to face a situation where we get to hearing, we have a very specific definition that then gets determined it's a significant change, and then we have to reintroduce it anyway. The second one is, I think that, at least looking at it from my perspective, one part that I would change would be in the, under Section 2, Paragraph 5, I would strike the phrase existing or approved at the time of passage of this chapter. I think that's tantamount to a prohibition on apartments, because what it means is the only way you get as a permitted use would be if the application exists at the time of the passage of this ordinance, which right now there isn't any. So I think if I make a motion to amend and that passes, that's going to be another, that could be viewed as a significant change. So, plus I want to give notice to the community that that's a possibility, that provision gets struck, and so we can hear more about it. I have reached out to the Board of Trustees at Lake Mohawk flagging that issue for her. And I think we could get more feedback from the community about that. So those are the reason why I think the better course, in my mind, would be to table this until we get a better definition and also get some more feedback about if that provision gets struck on section 2(5).
Attorney Dash, I know I had flagged the definition issue
Yeah.
pretty strongly, and I know your guidance was that adding a definition for a use that is already in there in the introduction would not be material. We're just defining it more clearly, correct?
Correct. In your case, you're not adding a definition. The definition is that you're not adding a use. The use for bed and breakfast is there. But there's a gray line on your issue, on Councilman Clark's issue, that is changing the nature of the use, and it could be considered a material issue. So your issue is certainly debatable as to whether it's a material change if you're adding the scope of a bed and breakfast. But arguably, it can. But if you have Councilman Clark's issue that addresses a use that's not currently allowed, that could certainly be considered a material change.
Okay, I was under the assumption until just now that both were not material.
Oh, okay.
But-
Yeah. I think our emails may have crossed earlier this afternoon. So
Okay, so we have a motion on the table to table the introduction of 2607.
Well, if we're going to consider that, Mayor, I would like to say,
Actually, do we need a second?
We only, all I have is me making the motion, so it needs a second.
you need a second, then we could discuss, or?
Okay, yeah.
All right, okay.
So can I have a second to further evaluate the motion to table? I'll second it. Okay, so we have that. Let's discuss further.
Yeah, so I think this is an opportunity to get this right. I mean, we have Lake Mohawk community asking us to administratively put some fixes into their, in an ordinance and to fix their bylaws, et cetera, and they've proposed this to us. If there's significant changes, I heard Councilman Clark and Mayor as well, as far as clarifying definitions, but I would suggest that whoever is handling those discussions, that we sit down with Lake Mohawk and get it right. I mean, let's, the next time this ordinance comes up here, it should be a pass-through and where everybody's in agreement and there's just full consensus with it. I mean, it's, I don't want to use this ordinance or any other ordinance that we talked about previously, running up expenses, legal fees and all this, if we're never going to get there for political reasons or differences of opinions. I just really would like to, if the community's looking for something, let's make it right, let's get it right, and put forward something that's best for the community as well as the township. So I just wanted to get that statement out there, and whoever's going to be representing or carrying that forward. Councilman Clark, would you be handling those discussions, or who's going to be discussing them?
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I will, I think people are entitled to my reasoning why I have an issue with that particular provision. I think the reality of it is that there are apartments in that area. There's a certain area and that in Lake Mohawk now that has remained kind of in a blighted condition, in my opinion, for quite some time, and is probably ripe to have commercial with apartments over the top. And so I think to make it more attractive, it just puts another barrier if you make it a non-permitted use. You have to go and get a use variance. I think that for right now, and there's certain parameters you can do around the development itself to make sure it fits within the aesthetic profile of Lake Mohawk. I think that for me, that's why I think we need to encourage that type of development there. I think it makes sense. And so that's why I would like to get that provision struck so it's clear that apartments with commercial on the bottom is a permitted use. Because the way it reads now, it's kind of a de facto prohibited use.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a urgency to get this through. If it was true that these two were non-material, I would prefer to go forward tonight with it. Given what I've heard and some of the other opinions here, we do need to get it right. And if there's going to be a risk that we come back in 3 weeks and it's going to be material changes, then that's just a waste of our time to wait 3 weeks. Okay.
And we'll communicate as reasonably, as fast as possible with the community to work through this, correct?
You mean the, like,
Yeah,
well,
this thing, so this thing doesn't lag months and months and months. I mean, I would hope that we get some dialogue, we discuss whatever your concerns that were discussed here, and if they're in agreement, or we could come to some agreement, then great, let's get this back to the board. If not, then at least give an update on where the discrepancies were, where the rub is, so to speak, if we're
Yeah.
not able to do so.
that's what we should do.
I think
Yeah.
it's important to communicate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Scott.
No,
I'm passing.
actually, just,
I apologize.
just the three.
Apologize.
It's okay.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sylvester.
Abstain.
Mayor Blumetti.
Yes. You're abstaining, just to be clear, you're abstaining from the vote to
I
table this.
I don't even want to table it, but you guys tabled it, so you don't even need my vote, correct?
Yeah, we had 2 over 3, so we have
true.
majority
You
of a
need
quorum.
3-0?
No, you're good. You
No,
have
we
a
just
quorum.
did two, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the vote to table has passed, two, and one abstention. So 26-07 is tabled. Okay. Moving on to hearing of ordinances. So we have one hearing tonight. This is ordinance 2604, which was introduced 2 weeks ago. An ordinance of the Township of Sparta, Sussex County, New Jersey, amending and repealing portions of Chapter 16 of the Township Code entitled Fire Protection and Prevention. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2604?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, this is now on the table. I'd like to open up to the public for comments on ordinance 2604. And please note that the same public comment guidelines apply, so 5 minutes. Please state your name. Okay.
Jenny Darks, Tap into Sparta. What is different from this ordinance compared to what currently exists?
Once the Township of Sparta entered into the shared service agreement with Hardiston Township, the state needs to recognize that shared service. The state recommends that they mandated that we change our ordinance about agency designation. So in the ordinance, the original ordinance had Sparta being the lead agency when it came to fire prevention. That's not the case anymore. It's Hardiston, so we had to amend the ordinance accordingly just to match up with the current shared service agreement.
So you called it agency, what was the
Designation.
designation? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments or questions regarding ordinance 26-04? Okay, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the dais. Any discussion, comments, questions on the dais for 2604? Start with Councilman Scott first.
Yes, sir. This agency designation, the first sentence says, "The local enforcing agency shall be the Hardiston Township Bureau of Fire Prevention, which shall hereinafter be known as the local enforcing agency or Bureau of Fire Prevention pursuant to a shared services agreement," blah, 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 blah. Is our fire department is all good with this?
Yes, in fact, our fire department really isn't involved with this. This is fire prevention, fire inspections,
Okay,
adherence to the fire code.
okay.
All right, so there is some crossover, but there isn't, a whole lot there. And yes, they are fully on board. We've been doing the service now for 2 quarters, and it's worked out fairly well. I'm very pleased with it. With the transition went very well. Hardiston has been very responsive. And, one of our lead inspectors, Tom McIntyre, he continues to work part-time for the Hardiston side. And it's worked out very well. This is just more of a perfunctory language changes.
Okay.
So there's nothing really of significance of concern on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Sylvester, any questions?
No, I'm good.
I have none. Councilwoman? No?
Nope.
Councilman?
I don't.
No questions.
Okay. Madam Clerk, may I please have a roll call vote for 2604?
Councilman Scott.
Yeah.
Councilman Murphy.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sylvester.
Yes.
Mayor Blumetti.
Yes. 2604 has been adopted. Moving on to resolutions. Again, just a brief reminder that Resolution 8-5 was recently added to the agenda. So I'm going to walk through these each individually tonight instead of doing any bulk resolution approvals. So once we do the motion and second it, then if there's any questions or comments or discussion, we can have it at that point. May I have a motion to approve Resolution 8-1, adopting an Affordability Assistance Program Policy and Procedures Manual for the Township of Sparta? I make a motion and have a second, please.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion, comments, questions?
Yeah, these are all predicated upon what the state is mandating, correct?
Yes.
Just so the public knows.
That's a great point, Councilwoman. Thank you. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3 are all related to affordable housing requirements. Any other questions, comments?
So there's no changing this. This is the way it is. The state lays it out.
It is, and it provides a lot of good information in there on the current status of the account that the township maintains for COA. And that account is very strict on where the monies can be used and applied for, and it's very transparent. And the new rules with the affordable housing is that we have to do constant reporting with DCA on the balances and the spending and the acquisition of the funds. So they're really on top of it now, more than ever.
And included in these 3 also, there's lots of detailed forms for a resident who wants to apply, what they need to fill out, what are the requirements, what are the guidelines, how much assistance they can get. So there's a lot of public-facing information in these manuals and policy guides.
We do have a third-party administrator in CGP&H, because this is a complex process, but they make it easy for applicants, and they actually manage a lot of the details of this on behalf of the town. And I'm grateful for that.
Okay, let's go to a vote for 8-1. All in favor of approving Resolution 8-1, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstains? 8-1 has been approved. Resolution 8-2, resolution adopting the Administrative Procedures Manual for Affordable Housing. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second?
Any further comments, questions, discussions? Okay. All in favor of approving 8-2, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? 8-2 has been approved. Resolution 8-3, resolution adopting the Township of Sparta Affordable Housing Trust Fund 4th Round Spending Plan. May I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions, comments? The dais?
And these can be found online on the town website, if anybody needs to know. And is there any other place?
I believe they're also attached to the agenda online for this evening's meeting.
Right.
Okay,
Yes, there are attachments there. Yes.
thank you.
Okay, all in favor of approving Resolution 8-3, say aye.
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 Any opposed or abstained? Okay, 8-3 has been approved. Resolution 8-4. Resolution of the Township of Sparta supporting the New Jersey Highway Traffic Safety Mobilization 2025 Distracted Driving Crackdown. May I have a motion to approve 8-4?
So moved?
May I have a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments, discussion?
And we got a grant last year because of this, correct? For our police department did such a wonderful job.
Yeah, I believe we have a grant this year. It's funding this,
We
right?
do a good job applying for as many grants as we can.
I know.
Yes, we are lucky to also get this. So this is just in support of the grant.
All in favor of approving Resolution 8-4, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? 8-4 has been approved. Resolution 8-5, resolution supporting the Sparta Township Environmental Commission's application for an ANJEC, which is the Association of New Jersey Environmental Commission, Open Space Stewardship Grant for a community bat conservation and education project. May I have a motion to approve 8-5?
So moved?
May I have a second? I will second. Any questions, discussion, comments?
And this is just for applying for a grant for educating, because there's a lot of animals, bug turtles, certain bats that are becoming extinct, and it's just another part of the environmental to help protect our land where these could be inhabiting.
Yeah. And just to clarify too, if you remember, you might recall last meeting, there was also an environmental commission request for us to support them going for a grant. That was not through ANJEC, that was through Sustainable Jersey. Those are two different organizations that environmental commissions collaborate with.
If you don't mind, I'd like to just make a plug for our clerk.
Yeah.
As you know, the reason this wasn't on the agenda, it came really late last minute. Turned out there was a deadline that we would have missed if we had put this on the next council meeting.
Thank you very much.
But thanks to Roxanne
Thank
for
you.
keep getting that on for tonight.
Thank you.
One quick question, and there's no expense to the town. This is 100% grant.
This is a
covering-
grant that we're
There's no
applying
matching, there's
for.
no administrative
That's correct. I
requirements
think it's
put on us.
$1,500.
Yeah, 1,500.
Right.
Excellent. Yeah,
Thank you.
it's exciting.
Yep.
We need the EC to keep pushing these types of things to help educate the public on things that,
Yes.
yeah, they're doing a good job. Okay, may I have a?
I just have questions about, but no one probably can answer them other than ecology. What's so important about the bats?
Because they're extinct.
What are they, is that why?
They're
Okay.
becoming,
They're
there's
endangered.
several species that are
I'm just letting the
becoming.
guy who freaks out at the bats
Okay.
in the house.
Oh, well, that's true.
They keep the
We got one in
mosquito
our Christmas
population
tree.
down.
Yeah.
But there's particular ones that eat mosquitoes, that eat a lot of problematic insects.
Okay.
And if there's land that they happen to be inhabiting, this keeps open space.
Okay. Thank you.
And there's like 4 or 5 that are becoming extinct.
Yeah, they're a key part of the ecosystem. In the whole, yeah,
Thank you.
And they only come out at night.
yes. And they're actually not very aggressive.
Say so.
I do. Okay. All right, all in favor of approving Resolution 8-5, say aye.
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 Any opposed or abstains? All right, Resolution 8-5 has been approved. Now we're moving on to item 9, our second open to the public segment. This is for items not on the agenda. So items not on the agenda tonight, please state and spell your name for the record. Each speaker is limited to one comment of no more than 5 minutes.
Rob Otto, R-O-B, I'll spell it backwards, O-T-T-O. So this is not relating to any particular ordinance, but I would just ask if there's a question about bed and breakfast, just in general, which are referred to in 18-2.1, if there's any attempt to clarify for future ordinances, that's in, and you would know this, but 1211.2, 18.4.27, Town Center Lower Main Street Commercial, 18-4.37, 18-4.24, 18-4.12, as well as C1H. So just if some changes are going to be made, I would just ask that rather than duplicating the efforts, do it all. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Otto. I raised the exact same point. We're thinking along the same lines. Let's change it where everywhere it needs to apply and
all.
get really detailed and define it properly.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Quickly.
Rick Finkel, Finkle, Sparta.
First of all, Jim, did you say that there's a YouTube link for the replay of the budget meeting?
Correct.
Because I was on the website earlier, I didn't see any media file.
You go to Tax and Finance, and then
Okay.
you'll see the budget documents, and then you got the tabs of each year.
Okay, I was looking at the wrong
You'll
spot.
see, you'll see the link there.
Okay, super. The other question I had was around a previous meeting a couple weeks ago. And there's a couple questions asked that I want to come back to. Some of you know I was on the school board for 7 years, so I'm pretty familiar with what gets included in executive sessions and what's excluded from executive sessions. So I'm going back to the discussion around the meeting that took place with Diamond Ship a couple weeks ago. First of all, I think these questions are certainly able to be addressed at this meeting. I'm not asking for any confidential negotiation topics. Who initiated that initial meeting a couple weeks ago?
Which meeting?
There was a meeting several weeks ago. I think Mike was in the meeting, the attorney, not an odd, but the attorney and someone else.
Yep.
Yeah, so let me answer the question this way, Rick. You're right. The question is not strictly prohibited by any rule
Right.
or confidentiality. But let me say this. In a litigation, why we as attorneys are careful in answering questions like that? Because anything we say in a litigation can be used against us. That we are either, I understand the interest of transparency, but we are in an environment now that any types of questions, even though innocuous, as that you had just asked, it's a slippery slope. Every time we, as Sparta, the planning board, the council, tries to answer a question as innocuous as that, there is a risk. And it's not a right or wrong risk, there's a risk. And so I respect the interest by the public to understand the details related to that, and I respect your knowledge of what is privileged and what's not privileged, but there is a nuance to what we can answer, and I just ask you to mutually respect that.
I'm not sure about the mutual respect because the evasion of the answer is concerning in itself.
Well, I mean, respectfully, you're entitled to that, Rick.
Evasion of the answer is concerning. And whether it's their side or our side, we're knee-deep in litigation. To answer who originated that meeting is not going to cause any additional damages, from my perspective.
That's from your perspective. From my perspective, I have a different experience.
Okay. Has there been any subsequent meetings, discussions, or correspondence with them since the last meeting
Same answer.
concerning? Okay. I'll share the other comments that I'm hearing from the community. It's not just my personal opinion, that there seems to be some negotiations, I won't call it backroom negotiations, discussions to get ourselves out of this pickle because there's individuals that are affected by potential personal lawsuits and a settlement could get those people out of this predicament. That's one thing I'm hearing. The other thing I'm hearing is that the attitude towards the town has changed and we're desperately looking for additional funds. And there's a percentage of the people in the community think that we're changing our position to address budget gaps, and I think that's short-sighted. So I'm curious to see when we're going to be able to find out who initiated this meeting because I don't think it's as damaging as you're implying it to be. So, thank you. That's
Thank
it.
you.
If I could just add, I think that the issue really is when you get into who, it inevitably leads to an argument with whoever you've identified. They'll say, well, we weren't the ones that started it, you were the one. And we're dealing with a very litigious opponent. We'd rather avoid issues about who started what. So I think that's, and I think, there is, I mean, it should be public, at least I think, the court has ordered mediation. I think that everyone that knows the public, that wasn't something that was initiated by anyone here or the other side. That's a function of the District of Federal Court of New Jersey. And so that was, ordered by the court. So we don't have a choice. We have to show up for that.
I tell you to reach out to Diamond Chip or vice versa, right? They just said.
The court said the mediation. Who started what you're referring to? I understand Attorney Dash's concern, and I'm just echoing that when you get into issues about who said what, it inevitably leads to a fight. And so it's not in anyone's litigation interest to do that. And I think that's sort of what he was driving at. So I understand how it's perceived as evasion. It really isn't. It's trying to protect our own kind of litigation position. But I appreciate the concern. I understand the public is rightly concerned about it and has every right to stand up here and ask about what's going on with this. So, thank you.
Thank you. I will just say too, that both parties agreed to meet and in good faith. I mean, that's how I saw it.
Sylvia Salone, Sparta, SOLAUN. I'm here today to represent New Jersey Forest Watch, which, if you don't remember who we are, but we are one of the advocacy groups in the state that's working to protect and preserve our public lands, especially on Sparta Mountain. And I wanted to remind the mayor and council that March 31st is approaching very soon. That's next Tuesday. Comments are due to the DEP regarding the next logging project, which is the last of this 10-year plan. It is on Stand 9B, which, just to let everybody know, if you've ever hiked on Sparta Mountain, it is off the Edison Monument Trail, which is, by the way, the most widely used recreational trail on Sparta Mountain. And it's also in a natural heritage priority site. We've already had one area destroyed, which was considered 9A. That's what the DEP deemed that. Our group, along with the Highlands Coalition, filmed the invasive species that are now growing in an area that before did not have invasive species, because when you do log, what happens is the logging equipment that comes in spreads seeds that are often found in the passageway or the trailway. And so as much as we tried back then to not have this area logged because we knew invasives were going to spread, it has already proven so. And because this is an area that is so near and dear to so many of us who hike, who recreate, who love to be out in the outdoors, to look at birds and other animals, to now go into another area that's a natural heritage, which, by the way, it means it's high conservation value. For example, with Resolution 8.5, one way we could help our bats, stop logging. And that is a fact. In addition, I want to just clarify, and I have a document for all of you, that so far on Sparta Mountain, 150 acres have already been cut. That is the equivalent, and I want you to think about this, 113 football fields. That is egregious in today's climate crisis that we're in. When you start to include the rights of way, which is our, power lines, those are always going to be early successional or young forest habitat. That's an additional 140 acres. So if you add the 150 that the state's already done, the 140, right, you get now an area that is equivalent to 219 football fields. And so I have this form for you so you can see all the data. And remember, that doesn't include the new roads that have been created on Sparta Mountain because of the logging equipment. Doesn't include the marshlands, which technically are considered that younger forest because trees will not grow in marshlands. And if you just go down Edison Road, you see all of that early successional habitat already there. But the state, our group has found out, has put out to bid a inventory analysis on Sparta Mountain for the next plan. And this is, you can probably hear it in my voice, it's not only egregious, it is wrong. We as taxpayers pay to protect these lands. We all pay green acres. We want areas to recreate and to enjoy. If COVID taught us something, is that how much we need our outdoors. And yet the DEP has been misguided. There's plenty of other areas in the state, like brownfields they can go to. One of the comments we're going to make as a group is that instead of going into this area that is so pristine and so beautiful, why don't you go to an area that was cut 11 years ago, 12 years ago? Manage that area. Don't go into a pristine area and destroy that area. Instead, manage what you've already done on Sparta Mountain. That makes the most sense. And so I encourage our Spartans that are here today, as well as those listening, we have to fight for what's right. And what's happening on Sparta Mountain is wrong. And I thank you for your time. I'm hoping that we can rally, and this proposed plan for another 10 years, we nix. And with my 6 seconds left, there was a resolution that was on the table. I don't know what happened to that. If we just include no removal of wood, most environmental organizations would be fine with management. Just don't remove the wood. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
One question.
Sure.
When they log for this on stand 9, are they gonna have to, because that is, like, there's a bunch of trails there, people use that. Are they gonna close it down?
Yes.
So if I'm trying to go hiking up there, I'm not gonna be able to use that, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And how long is it indefinite?
They usually close it from November 15th through March 31st. That's the time frame. Yep. And Roxanne, I have this. And I will also email this to you, Roxanne, because it has the scientific papers. Like if you click on the PDF, this obviously paper, you can't do that.
Yeah, right. I would love to read that. That's terrific. I just have 2 quick questions. So,
Sure.
the purpose of all this logging from the DEP's perspective is for what reason?
Okay, they,
Actually, let's keep it brief. I don't want to get into a whole
Okay,
dialogue.
I'll read up on it.
yes, it's
the
to
history of it.
create
Brief is fine.
habitat. It's to create younger forests, but there's areas that you can go into that you don't have to cut the nice trees.
Okay, and my last question, real simple. Do they consider all the storm damage that's been going on and all the down trees that are there? Do they go out and log those and pick those up as well?
They do not, and that is something that we have brought to their attention as well. But there's no value in trees that are already down, and that's the key.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You keep me on a tight string tonight, huh?
Joanne Scally. I just want to come up here to thank the Sparta Police, Sparta Township for their vacant home program that they have when people are away from home. The police will come periodically to check on your house. And we were away this past winter, and the police did come and do a check around 6 a.m., and they saw water coming out of my garage. I had a burst pipe, and I called the water remediation company right away, and they said the pipe was probably burst about an hour or 2 before they got there. So thankfully, our Sparta police noticed it, and I ended up with $37,000 in water damage, which quite a bit, but our insurance company approved it, which is great. But it could have been a lot worse if we didn't have that program in place. So I want to thank town, the police department for putting that in place. It's a wonderful thing, and I think more people should be made aware of that program. They check for the doors, for broken windows, doors open, water coming out of garages. But thank you, all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Manager Zepp, how does someone sign up for that if the public wanted to take part in that? Just online?
Exactly. Online, I think it's on the police webpage.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Hi, folks. Ron Day again, Sparta. Don't want to go back to the ordinance on the veteran tax refund, but I just want to ask, when it comes time to have the hearing, Jim, if you could, let's see if we can get a number. I know there's been a number floating. I don't think people believe that's the number anymore. So when it comes time for the vote, make sure everybody has what you believe is the right number. Okay?
Sure.
The other thing I want to talk about tonight is the elimination of the second public comment period for items that are not on the agenda. There's obviously a lot of topics that aren't on the agenda, and the public should be given the opportunity to comment on them. I mean, we could talk about disabled veterans, presentation of the budget, the annual financial statement. Jenny's always bringing the brownfields, keeping us in front of us. Thank you for that. We heard about logging tonight, things, a lot of things that just aren't on the agenda. And my feeling is that 1 5-minute comment period just is not enough. You know, if I remember correctly, when many of you campaigned for this position, you promised more transparency, better engagement with the public. You wanted to hear what the public's collective thoughts and concerns were. And yet, at the very first meeting of this council, you voted to eliminate that second public comment period for items not on the agenda. So, you know, if there was a misunderstanding, and I think there may have been by some, on what was being voted on. So my question would be, how do we get that back on the agenda? Does somebody need to make a motion? Does it need to be voted on? And if so, I'm going to ask that people consider doing that tonight as part of the other new business. So let's get it back on so people can have the time. I know time in the meeting was a consideration, but I think when you look at the, you know, you guys are doing a really good job getting through the items on the agenda. Tonight, we'll probably get out of here, you know, well before 9 o'clock. I think we've had other meetings, so I don't see the need to reduce it. So let me go back to something Dean started with, and that's that, you know, we're all here. We want to do what's best for Sparta, but we have to listen to each other. Well, you can't do that. You can't understand us if you don't give us the opportunity. And again, 1 5-minute comment. I mean, I get tired of looking at this clock and not at you guys. And I hate to see people come up here. Great thoughts. And I'm watching the clock on them. You know, it was the wrong decision in my view. And I ask that you really consider fixing it. So thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
Jenny Derrick, step into Sparta. So, Mr. Zepp, do we have have they accepted our land swap yet? For the,
You want me to answer that?
Sure.
We're getting closer, Jenny. We have our contact down at the Mitigation Council. They have requested title commitments on the parcels. And Anna and I are getting ready to write the resolutions for the parcel donation. And our eco-science expert, Laura Newgard, will be present here to answer any questions when it comes to that point. So it's either the next meeting or the following meeting that this will happen. So stay tuned, but we're getting closer.
okay, thank you. The grant from the the Environmental Commission, there's no, you asked about township, I think you had asked about township fees or other money that we may have, but are there any other strings attached to it? Like, do we have to then cordon off any property, or is there anything that we're required to do that isn't maybe necessarily money, but the town has to abide by to get the grant? It's just them giving us money.
To get the grant or to?
And part of it's education as well.
Okay,
It's for education.
but there's nothing else we have to do?
No.
Okay, thank you. Dean, I don't know if this is for you or for Mr. Zepp. At the last planning board meeting, the chair just took it on herself that the reason why there were no minutes is because she's been doing the minutes because they're shorthanded in the department. And just curious why a volunteer would be taking on a job that's supposed to be done in-house. And then one last quick thing, the B&B, I had brought that up, the question that there's no framework behind the B&B ordinances that are, as Mr. Otto explained. I did check into it about a year ago, and I brought it to the attention here that was lacking. Andover, as just as a direction, Andover has a small carve out for bed and breakfast, and they're one of the only ones in the area that actually do. So there might be some place to look.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll attempt to address the question about the planning board minutes, and managers, if you would like to jump in, but as you know, the staff is shorthanded right now with the departure of the department head, right, for planning and zoning. So my assumption is that they are backed up on doing things like minutes. I personally don't see an issue with a member of the committee filling in to do minutes, especially the chairwoman. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing if it keeps getting minutes going. I don't know. And town manager, is there anything else to
Yeah,
add?
this is the first I heard of it. I thought I had the minutes covered by another staff member.
Okay.
So this is news to me.
Yeah, she took the blame for not having minutes. She said, it's on me, I didn't get to it, I didn't have enough time. It just seemed inappropriate, that's all.
All right, so was this for planning board or minor site plan or?
Planning board.
Planning board?
All right.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else from the public on items not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the dais. Moving on to council liaison updates. Hi.
Marjorie Castell, 353 North Church Road, Sparta. I was just curious about the 809 West Mountain Road, them dumping. And I thought it was supposed to be addressed March 1st, and I haven't heard anything.
Talk to Jenny.
That's a joke.
From memory recall, Jenny had asked the same question, and I had given her an extensive reply from the township engineer. They are actively surveying the property right now. They have an LSRP ready to address the soil remediation. It's just, I know it was very wet with all the thawing and the snow. They are actively working on it right now as we speak. We should start hearing results of those soil samples momentarily. But it is an active cleanup right now. They have the appropriate personnel. My engineer is on top of it.
It's an active cleanup?
With the surveys and the soil sampling, right? They're going to sample the soil.
I'm not familiar, so
well-
you don't have to get angry with
Well,
me.
I'm not angry. It's just, I know it.
Snappy or-
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I come
Thank
across
you.
that way.
You bet.
We can address this outside then. Okay? That'd be a better way to do it. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll regroup after the meeting or offline?
Yeah, so just to clarify, the statement was intended in the best intention. When he said active cleanup, there's not a presumption that there's contamination, ma'am. So if you interpreted it to be that there is contamination, there is no finding from the township that there is contamination yet.
Okay, so if I were to have truckloads of dirt, not just a few truckloads, we're talking days and days of truckloads of dirt coming onto my property, would anybody, like this has been going on, this has been reported in '24. I don't understand that there's no urgency. This could be contaminated. I've never heard of people dumping unlimited dirt and it still keeps not getting addressed.
Well, I appreciate your concern. I will say the illegal dumping of dirt in New Jersey is probably more common than you would think, number one. But the urgency, I can tell you that the township engineer is working as expeditiously as he can with the property owner to take all steps necessary to ensure that there is no contamination. I understand your concern that they may not be working fast enough, and I don't have a satisfactory answer for your view that the township is not working fast enough.
So you're saying that dirt gets dumped in Sparta frequently?
Not in Sparta necessarily, but there are incidences both in Sparta and every town just about in New Jersey that the illegal dumping of dirt is bringing in dirty dirt putting it in places you're not supposed to is unfortunately not uncommon. But in other words, it doesn't mitigate what you are experiencing. And so I'll just say that the township is trying to take all necessary steps to address your property.
It just doesn't seem, I don't know, I don't see it.
I understand.
If I may just
Like,
jump in real quick.
there's a lot, we pay a lot of taxes in this town. And on top of it, the property is zoned farm residential. And if they're trying to make a truck stop on a farm, then wouldn't that like do something to their application? Because we have to abide by your folks' law that how to keep our farmland assessment, because it's a privilege. I mean, it's a privilege for the whole town because we keep a lot of the town pretty, and with a lot of trees, and the environment and the bats are our friends. But I don't know, it's a little confusing
Yeah, if
to
I
me.
may, Manager Zepp, I think I mentioned this in the past, is there an opportunity to maybe get a report, updated report from our engineer or whoever's overseeing that to maybe
Yes,
keep us all informed?
I have one, and I'm happy to share it with you. I've kept the mayor plugged in. I've kept, Jenny had asked about it. The cleanup, or I'm not the cleanup,
Yeah,
the assessment of the property, that is my bad.
If it has a
because
case-
I'm not the professional on that, so I keep calling it that. But the survey is active. I've got the updates from my engineer. The LSRP is hired. She's ready to go out there and do her job. The soil sampling will be done. I understand there is a lot of material that's been brought out, but you want to see if it's contaminated material. Does it need to be removed, or is it clean dirt? See what the actual substance is of the material first. So they're taking it in a logical periodical method as they would any other area. And it is a process, and we have been fighting bad weather, and all the parties involved are aware of the urgency. And what I've been informed and what I've seen is it is active. They are doing things on it. They did a survey with a drone, I understand already. They've had drones out there
Yeah,
doing.
I believe that because
Did you see the drones?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so.
I saw them.
We are
And I've
in a
seen the
process.
surveyors on their feet as well.
Excellent.
But there's still tractor trailers parked there.
All right, we
And-
addressed that as well, Ms. Castile, and I'm told that the equipment there, they're waiting for the soil, because apparently it's very soft and muddy because it's loose. They're waiting for it to dry to remove the equipment that's not supposed to be there. Meanwhile, the agricultural equipment that is allowed to be there will remain because it's an active farm. I understand they have activities they're doing there, and that is also being monitored. So the owner is aware that the eyes are on him, and everything that I'm seeing is a process in taking care of all your rightful concerns.
Manager Zepp, is there a case number assigned to this? DEP case number and an LSRP assigned to the project?
There is an LSRP. I haven't seen the case number. I'm sure there is, but I
Maybe just a
can't
quick
answer
update,
that.
because if there is, and it sounds like there is, there's a process and a simple update from that. There's a process. Yes, they brought it in, but there's a process to make sure it's taken out properly, it's disposed of properly, it's determined if it's contaminated or not contaminated, and if any of the existing or original soils were impacted as well. So there's a procedural steps that this LSRP will make sure that that gets facilitated the correct way, assuming that that's the program it's under. So that's why I think just a quick update would be helpful for everyone.
And my engineer said, Jim, do you want me to come tonight? Right? And I'm like, well, I really don't want to pay the fee for that, but I should have had him here.
All right.
My apologies.
So
So
we'll plan on it for next meeting for sure to have an update.
Well, I would
but
just,
you would get you'll get Margie an answer. And
Absolutely. And I'm sure I'll have more information at the next meeting because it's an active process. And we've seen the drones and the surveys, and the weather hasn't been great because we've been getting all the rain. But
and they've actually taken dirt out.
haven't seen that. I know they're sampling dirt, is what I'm told.
They haven't taken any dirt out.
Right.
They haven't taken
I
any
think
tractor
they
trailers.
wanna-
And the road that they put in with the millings, the tractor trailers could leave. And they brought stuff in before the most recent snowstorm. So for them to tell you that everything is too soft,
Well,
I don't want to say it's hogwash, but
There is a
we'll
road
be
up there.
monitoring it.
correct. Excuse me.
Yeah, if we can
That's
let
sorry
the
about
council
that.
know about this, I think it would have been helpful to the resident for someone to explain the process, right? We're going to be here, this period is going to take X amount of time, we're going to do X amount of steps, and the reason for the steps, right? Because you're coming to us with questions that I have no idea, and I sit behind here. To me, I'd be asking the same questions, and I understand why you're concerned. I think it would be helpful for someone to sit you down and explain the process that they're going through to ensure, as you're rightly concerned, that you want testing done, but you need to understand, what are you testing for? Why do you think this methodology is going to work? That kind of thing. You are the adjacent homeowner who just saw, 5 stories of dirt come up in your backyard all of a sudden. So you're rightly concerned. And I think the rest of council could probably benefit from that too, which is, how long is this going to take? Right? How many steps do you have to go through? How long does the testing take? Because all of us sitting here want an answer soon about whether this soil in your yard or nearby is contaminated, because that opens up a whole nother can of worms if it is. So we need to know about that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, because the email said March 1st, and I understand we had a tough winter. I get that. But it's still like, and the soil conservation, what Delaware Soil Conservation was notified in '24. And I don't understand why, I don't even understand what soil conservation, I mean, I know that I had to use them when we were putting in an additional septic and an additional well, but I don't understand why none of that got this ball rolling sooner before I came to you folks. I just don't, I don't know.
I would suggest too, maybe going forward, I'm not, you're welcome to speak here. It
Yeah.
might be easier, more convenient for you if you don't have to come to a town council meeting twice a month and ask these questions. And maybe we can just set up a separate communication channel, have you come up here, talk to the engineer, whatever it is, like to make it easier so you're not having to come up here and try to get your questions on the spot, and make sure that you understand what the process is, and just kind of, I don't think it necessarily, you're welcome to, but I don't think it needs to be a council meeting. We should probably have a different way for you to communicate with you, and maybe we can work something out along those
I'm
lines.
very happy this woman is here, that Margie is here, because, I can't imagine that this is legal activity that the landowner is conducting on their property, all right? And I'd like to know, just what the hell's been done on this, right? This woman's been here 2 or 3 times. Her neighbor is impacting her life and her property, and I don't hear of any legal or police activity to correct it. And please let me stop. And I just think this woman deserves answers. I think we need some action here, and I understand we're dealing with the DEP, and I understand it takes forever, but this just doesn't seem like it's legal or ethical behavior in a neighborly fashion. I don't know how else to say that.
I would just, sorry, Vin, I didn't want to cut you off.
What?
I
That's
didn't
it.
want to cut you off. Okay. So my thoughts are that the illegal activity is not happening any longer. That stopped a long time ago, from my understanding.
The what?
The illegal activity. That's
No,
happened a
the
long time
trucks
ago.
are still
Well, no, the
sitting
trucks
there.
are still there.
Dean.
The trailers are still
Oh,
there.
they're sitting on the property, but
And
there's
they've
not.
added, and I sent a picture prior to the last meeting that I went to, and that had just come in a few days before that. But it's like another box truck comes, then a landscaping trailer comes, then that other yellow truck came, then I sent you folks the
And it has nothing to do with what they're doing on the property.
I do more than just farm. So I have several hats. I have a lot of responsibilities. So I don't have time to keep taking pictures. And then when they start, and I thought that it was supposed to be like a stop work order, which I think that's a phrase, but they were out there working stuff. So what am I supposed to go video them? Like, I'm not a cop. I have enough responsibilities. It's very frustrating. And like you said, it's scary because nobody seems to, nobody seems to be, nobody was served with any type of summons. There's no penalties. I mean, it's a lot of dirt. And Sparta, I mean, I always thought it was a really upscale town in that we all cared for one another. It's just pretty sad. But thank you for your concern.
No, I think you're 100% correct.
Thank you. So, Councilman
Thank
Scott,
you.
there is
Thanks.
process, there is things that have happened. I don't want you to mislead the public, that there is things that have happened, the LSRP, the drones, the surveys. There is some progress. Maybe it's too slow or too early or too small. But again, I don't think, again, I didn't say I did not like her to be here. I love having her here. I wish she didn't have to be here. I'm saying we need to go
That
further.
says
Let me
she has
finish.
to be
Let me
here
just finish.
sort of thing.
Yeah, we just need to maybe make this easier and have a longer conversation than squeezing it in now and get all the facts on the table. That's
All
what
right,
I
well,
was
then
suggesting.
maybe we should have, maybe Jim could bring in the people, the players.
I don't think
are
that, you don't need to
involved
bring them in here.
and-
It's not a public
Not in here,
debate.
but in
Okay.
our conference room.
Okay.
And we can answer this lady's questions.
Absolutely.
And no, you raised a point that actually concerns me, which is listen, it may or may not be true based on what you've eyewitnessed. If you're witnessing that they're continuing to do the operation for which they were prohibited in the first place, that's a problem. It's a problem. And so we need to understand whether that's ongoing or not, and the burden should be on the landowner to give assurances that that's not what, the trucks that you see has nothing to do with the operation for which you are shutting down. It has to do with something else. But I don't know that, you don't know that, I don't know if our town administrator knows that, but everyone here needs to know that. Because we can't have, as, when you first told us this, we have a truck stop, which is clearly a prohibited use, existing in a residential community. Shouldn't have happened.
It has.
All right, and then once it comes to
material.
light, it definitely shouldn't be happening after it's come to light. And if it's continuing to happen, you're right to be outraged and you're right to stand up here and say, what the heck is going on? And, so I'm going to want to know that. We're going to need some kind of assurance that these trucks that are coming in that you say you see, they have nothing to do with the prior operation. It has to do with the cleanup or whatever it is. We're going to need some explanation. But,
I don't want to play cop. And I'm not out for my neighbor. You know what I mean? I didn't invite this. I just want to
Well, I'm
count
going to
birds.
suggest to go back to my original recommendation about what's the clock say, 10 minutes ago? Let's get a quick update and update from the professionals overseeing that, including ours, and get this council and all the responsible parties updated. We're speculating. We're speculating. We don't know what's going on, whether it's still continuing or they're in the point of remediating. We just don't know. But to hear drones are flying around, there's activity, let's get updated. I'm very curious myself
Thank
and
you.
understand your concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Margie.
Anyone else from the public? Mr. Finkel, I'm sorry, you were done. You only can really come up once during each segment.
Use the 5 minutes?
I believe so.
Pardon me?
I wasn't watching the exact countdown.
I don't,
I'm going to use my executive privilege to allow you to finish your 2 minutes.
Be good to clarify that anyway, but
Okay.
sort of what Ron was saying, sometimes you have to come back for a different topic. Anyway, really quick, full disclosure, Margie's a good friend of mine. We both born and raised in Sparta, 65 years. A couple things. One is the trucks they moved from the farm are now sitting at the Homestead Restaurant.
they are.
So did we really accomplish anything? Because I don't think the Homestead Restaurant's a parking area for commercial trucks either.
No, but they own that too, right?
They do. So, Jim, do we have a code enforcement officer now? I saw a
Yes.
business card on the table. Okay.
we do.
So I didn't know. Second of all, is that LSRP, was that assigned by the state or the property owner?
Property owner.
Potential concern.
The LSRP has to maintain strict levels to maintain their title, no matter
Okay.
who hires them.
Okay. I'm going to say something controversial. This property owner has been getting away with this kind of stuff for many, many years. Okay? Sparta's made accommodations, turned a blind eye. maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but it's been obvious over the 6 decades I've lived here. So I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else from the public? Items not on the agenda.
I just wanted to make a
Can you share your-
short,
Just share your name, please.
Elizabeth Nealons, I'm sorry, same address. I was with Marjorie Castell when Corey Stoner came to the property. I think it was like December 21st or 22nd. It was right before Christmas in 2025, just this past. We walked the property, we visualized took pictures, had long conversation. He was very articulate. He did make some points that were very clear. He walked her through the process at that time. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. He promised a soil sample and promised that we were going to get a notification of the soils, that when it was going to be, when the soil was going to be taken, when it was going to be tested, and the results. And he said, we're going to give them until March. We're going to give them until March 1st. And we're like, that's kind of a lot of leeway, but we didn't have a bad winter at that time. But then we did have a bad winter. I've farmed my whole entire life. The soil's not that soft where you can't go in and take soil samples. That's for sure. There's been plenty of really nice days, and there's dirt. I mean, you can't even imagine for 2 or 3 years the amount of dirt that came to that farm. And I myself have farmed. I know that getting agricultural farm assessment tax break is a huge thing. We have to jump through hoops. We have to make sure that our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted every single year. If they have farm assessment taxes, I don't see how they're getting it. I really don't. I don't see how they're getting it. But we were promised that by March 1st, and we asked a lot of questions and we got a lot of answers from Mr. Stoner, but we haven't heard from him since. I think Marjorie just emailed him recently and got a short answer. But, and I didn't even read the answer, but we haven't been brought up to date, but we were promised all these things back in December. And for something to be going along since 2024 is quite a long time. So that's why the tension is getting higher and higher. If you saw the amounts of the trucks and the dumping and the machines, you would be horrified. It was like beyond anything I've ever seen. And I've been around a long time. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have seen it. It is a lot.
Anyone else from the public? Okay, seeing none, we're going to go back to finish up the agenda. So we have council liaison updates. We'll start at my far right. Councilman Clark, any updates tonight?
We had a Trails meeting on March 11th. We had a guest, Glenn Sumpner from the Sussex County Chamber Executive Director. The Sussex County Chamber of Commerce is making a big push for trails and was just updating us about, some that I think Franklin's working on. And so he was encouraging of our efforts to get this underway. And one, we are going to try to meet with the county because, one of the trails, the Ironbound Trail, that would be from kind of behind the DPW going up through to Sussex Votech, that, and then following along the SCUMA line, that obviously we have to talk to SCUMA. We also are having a meeting hopefully soon with Sussex Votech, because part of the trail would go there. So we're continuing to meet with them. We are also, there's a grant available. The deadline is May 15th. So we are meeting with, in the county, that's a county grant. And so we're meeting with folks who are, can kind of walk us through that grant process. So we're focusing on trying to get that grant up and going. And that's really all that is going on right now with the Trails Committee. nothing on all my other committees, the 4 other ones. I'll let Deputy Mayor Sylvester talk about the Board of Ed, which we just had, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
So there's nothing really, I haven't had meetings for the 3 or 4 other committees that I'm on. I did attend the Sussex County League of Municipalities. So as you know, there's a state League of Municipalities, and there had always been a Sussex County one that went kind of dormant during COVID, but that is back in operation. And so we had a meeting at Industry Restaurant, and they're presented their survey. They did a whole big survey about towns that had passed cannabis ordinances. I think that survey is available. Most of the towns said they had a positive impact, and then they identified the revenue. So that was presented. We also had a representative from Governor Sherrill's office, who is our liaison between the state and Warren County, Sussex County. So he was there, and there's certain, it was good to have him there because one of the issues that we're going to try to deal with at the trails is the degree to which the state trails can get involved if the trails are built, whether they would maintain them. And so that's an issue that we have to address with them. So we'll be doing that in the future. And other than that, that is all the updates I have.
Okay, I'm glad you went.
Actually,
I have the LMCC. We will be having a meeting within the next 2 weeks. And Environmental Committee, I will be starting in a month, but we got thank you again, Roxanne, for putting the grant online, the grant on the agenda. Rev 250, well, this was actually through the Van Kirk Museum and the Historic Society. They had the Martha Washington reenactment at the Presbyterian Church last weekend, and they did a really good job, had a great turnout. There was probably, I'd say, 40 people there. And all of the Rev 250, all of the upcoming events will be posted on our website, on the upcoming events. And that is about it. Well, mine, the senior, I don't have much.
thank you.
Anybody wants to get involved in any of the senior activities, you can contact the senior center. And any of the trips, they've got quite a few trips coming up, and you can sign in up there. We will post also online.
Thank you. I also, like Councilman Clark, last Wednesday, I attended the Sussex County League of Municipalities event as well. I found it a really valuable opportunity to make a number of connections with individuals, colleagues, both at the state level, as he had mentioned, and the county level too. So it was quite valuable, and I've been in touch with some of them already since then. So look forward to more of those. That was it for my liaison updates, giving calendars. I have some other items I'll leave to new business. Deputy Mayor.
Great. Yeah, Councilman Clark and I met with this school board, and we made our first introduction and got an update. And as we are experiencing, they have as well in dealing with their budget. So they're faced with a significant budget deficit. They put a plan together. I think they rolled out, if I'm not mistaken. They had their public workshop as well. And they've put an action plan together and are trying to, mitigate and manage their budget as best they can as well. The issues were very similar to what we're experiencing with health insurance increases and the like. So there was nothing that jumped out much differently than what we're being faced with, as well as other townships and school boards in the area. One thing I asked was the enrollment, and the enrollment was comparative to, say the 10-year look back, or since 2018, if I'm not mistaken, was pretty consistent. And it was an increase of maybe, or a decrease. Was it an increase or a decrease of a very small number of students? So it's
73, I
pretty
think.
level.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we've had a major, which was surprising to me. We were interested in understanding the enrollment trend that was being experienced at the school board as well. Other than that, I think it's sensitive information. They're managing their budget process as well. So it was just great to make contact with them. One question that did come up, Manager Zepp, was is there any shared referendums or anything that we are working on with them that need to be discussed, or, as far as shared services and things of the like?
Not that-
Question for us that
yeah,
we-
Not that I'm aware of. Most of the time, we're helping them out. So,
Okay. Anything else, Councilman Clark? I think kind of just broad stroked it a little bit.
No, I think that, yeah, there was, like anything, the biggest increase for them was also health insurance. I think is 16% increase. And they're doing the same thing where they're just kind of going across the board, trying to figure out where they can make the appropriate cuts, kind of like what we had to do department by department. So very similar. And again, this isn't, I mean, if you read about it, I mean, what kind of shocked me is Montclair, New Jersey, which has a home value twice of what Sparta is, $5 million deficit. I mean, it's not sure what's driving that one, but anyway, it was pretty significant. But they're going to, do the best they can, but they have some capital improvement. I think they reduced their capital improvements significantly as well. Kind of the same thing we had to do, right? We had to forestall capital improvement this year.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Great.
Thank
Councilman?
you.
Councilman Scott.
Hi.
If I can just ask you to use your mic, Mark. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. On business development, we're working with our town IT professional to design and build a informational page about the Business Development Committee. We are going to use a third-party provider, third-party vendor to produce a workable website with all Sparta businesses and contacts listed. This is, I guess, Jim found us some money. Much of this is, still in the planning stage right now, and but the town website will be updated by the time next time we meet, and then we'll get this additional webpage rolling. On the Municipal Alliance, I just want to announce that we have for children in grades 5 through 12, we're going to have a Sparta Summer Arts Workshop, June 29th to July 16th, every day, or Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. I've got information, and I think we'll put this up on the Sparta website also. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, now on to unfinished or new business. Does anyone have any unfinished new business for tonight? We'll start again on my right, Councilman Clark.
No.
Councilwoman Murphy.
No.
No. Just two items I'd like to share. I had the honor of attending the 100th birthday celebration for one of our residents, Patricia Coletta, yesterday, and presenting her with a proclamation on behalf of the township. I truly appreciated learning about her family, her remarkable life story, and meeting some of her family members there. If any of her family members are watching, or if Pat's watching, happy 100th, Pat. It was a real pleasure. Also, the other item is that volunteer training is being rolled out. And this is really geared at all members of our township boards and committees. It's provided through the JIF, which is our joint insurance fund. And it's simply it's very short, but it's valuable. It's a 15-minute online video to watch, and it covers topics such as conduct, ethics, responsibilities, et cetera, while serving as a volunteer of a township like Sparta. So we're going to be asking all of our gracious volunteers that are on our boards and committees and thanking them in advance to take a part in this and try to complete this. So we'll get that to the right liaisons and to the right departments to roll that out. That's it for tonight. Deputy Mayor?
Yes, just quickly to revisit what Mr. Day brought up regarding the public hearing sections of the agenda. If there's a way to reconsider or reinstate that, I would be in favor of us taking that into consideration. And then, I think I even recommended just increasing the time, if we're going to stick to this, maybe to 7 minutes, to give the residents an extra few minutes to speak, if that would maybe help satisfy the time push or the time crunch to get your comments in. Other than that, for those that are observing the upcoming Easter holiday, I wish you a very happy and healthy Easter, and be safe and enjoy. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Councilman Scott?
Yes, hi. I just had one thing I wanted to talk about on the veterans tax issue. I know we discussed it, but I just want to go through this. At the budget meeting, I brought this idea up. Several veterans came to me and asked me, is this a solution? Is this a way that we could work a compromise? The veterans tax issue. There are those that need it, the 2-year look back, and truly benefit from it. There are others that qualify for it, but have done well financially despite their disability. I've spoken to several veterans, and they suggested we consider this. In order to save Sparta the crucial money it needs at this point, I suggested at the budget workshop that we limit the annual tax waiver. All right. The average single property residence tax in Sparta is $13,669. We'll call that $13,700. Any disabled veteran up to this amount would get the full benefit. For someone with a $50,000 property tax, their benefit would be $13,700, and they pay the balance. If you think about it, why should one person get a higher amount than another if they're deemed similarly disabled? And this is just a compromise that I'm talking about. If you have a veteran and he is fully disabled, and here he can get this $13,700 credit, I would hope that certainly helps them, right? But if you have a $100,000 a year tax bill and living in a 7,000-foot house, to have that look back would be punishing to our budget here. So that's just an idea. It's a compromise idea. I just wanted to throw that out, and I hope that we can talk about it some more. That's it. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. All right, all of our business is conducted for tonight. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are.